Talbert, thank you so much for inviting me today. And I have a confession to tell you all. Talbert can attest to this. During the campaign, we were scheduled multiple times, and I am pleased to tell you that my campaign, every time, Talbert, is this not true, we agreed to the date. And then at the very end, the gentleman with whom I was in the position to run, they decided that was not what was in their best interest at the time. And so, frankly, I was the lone candidate, and we could never get together. And so when Talbert called me and invited me today, I can tell you it really was a privilege, and I thank you for this opportunity. I know so many of you in here, so many of you that helped me on the State Superintendent of Education race, and so many of you that were very, very generous with your time and effort and energy. And so to each of you, I want to say thank you for everything. And for those that I don't know, this is a great opportunity for me to talk to you a little bit about the vision that I have for the South Carolina Republican Party and how the Campaign for Liberty is an integral part. And then there are two things that I think I could take a pass on, but I think, to be intellectually honest, it's a good time for us to talk about. And the first is really what's transpired in the last 8 weeks. And the second is a little bit about the convention and the 360 that we did right after the convention. I am a businesswoman through and through. What Talbert was kind enough to tell you, the company that I own, we do a lot of strategic planning, a lot of development, and as a consequence, I actually work off of a plan. I am not one of these people that's, frankly, I'm criticized by not being very much of a self-promoter because I work very linearly. I think that's just the way my brain was worked. And I formulated, when I ran, something called Karen Floyd's plan on building on today's success. And this is really the roadmap that I put forward as the initiative, so to speak, that we, the South Carolina Republican Party, would focus on. And what I thought I would do is take you through each of these chunks and tell you what I said we would do and where we are in the process. And again, I think it's very important to know that today is my 8th week in the job. Okay, so we're not talking about a year behind me. We've had 8 weeks, and during those 8 weeks, we've had 3 what I'm going to call very challenging issues. The first was the stimulus, and it was challenging not in what was right or what was wrong. It was challenging in that it was divisive. The second was, welcome. The second was there was a comment that was made by a Republican that went national, and it didn't bode particularly well for the state of South Carolina. And the third, of course, is what happened literally a month ago today, was the day that our governor left the state of South Carolina, and we all know what transpired from there. So it has been a very, very hectic and grueling 8 weeks, and I want to be forthright with you about what we, the party, have done. But I think on a kind of a bigger picture, it's very important for you to understand that we have not lost sight of who and what we are, and that we are working this plan. And I am inviting each and every one of you. I think that Rob Godfrey had asked, and I see it right there, there's a yellow sheet that's going around, and we're asking you to sign in on this sheet. But afterwards, if you want to come up and say, Karen, look, Campaign for Liberty, we're here with you, or I individually am here with you, and I want to help build the party, and these are the areas that I want to build it in, we will get back in touch with you and involve you, because I have said this all along. We are as weak or as strong as our loosest link, and it's very important that we communicate who and what the Republican Party is about, and then give you, the activist for the state of South Carolina, the opportunity to engage or not to engage. You know, if you take a look at what happened in the last election, and we're going to talk presidential just for a minute, and then we can talk locally, the Republican Party has lost ground on your age. We have lost ground on individuals that are 18 to 25. And so the first outline issue that I have that is really important is that with respect to youth. How old are you fellas?
I'm 23.
All right, so you're right in the category that we lost. And you?
27.
27, so you're just above that. And what about you, sweetie? 22. So frankly, these three right here and this young lady here on the front row, that is a composite of the group or kind of the profile of the individual that we've lost as the Republican Party. And so I'm really begging the four of you, and I saw Nettie Britt who also falls down, I am begging the four of you, when you get this piece of paper, if there is something on here that you identify with and want to help us with, I am imploring you to get involved, because the sustainability of the Republican Party lies on, in my opinion, the youth. And so because of that, we have a youth outreach. And Adam Piper is our third vice chair. He's working very, very hard within the college structure and within your YRs. And we're starting a program called the WeRs. And basically what that is, I have brought my children since infants to every Republican Party we could possibly bring them to. And I think that it would be phenomenal if our children were actually raised in core conservative values and ideology. I think it's helpful. And how old are you? I didn't even see. Thank you for that. How old are you? 25. Well, you're just in the threshold. And so this We Republican, it's the idea of all of us can bring our family members to events, and there will be a structure set forth that maybe our YRs are watching our WeRs, and we had become a family, a very, very tight family that understands core Republican conservative issues. So there's a whole youth component to this outreach program, and what we've done has been more organizational. We've offered up to the young Republicans in the state of South Carolina office space at the party so that they have a presence, and we are going to include them on our technology, and I'm going to speak a good bit to you all about our technology and our outreach in just a minute. And then the next component that I think is really important is our non-traditional Republicans. And I think Glenn McCall, our national committeeman, has done a tremendous job in defining the difference between what I call outreach and inclusion. Outreach is you go into communities when you need folks and you try to recruit them and they don't have any buy-in and you're not very successful. Inclusion is to find common ground and to give individuals the opportunity to lock into core Republican traditional values. And so they actually are drawn by ideology and purpose as opposed to being drawn because they've been invited to some social whatever. And so we've done a lot with coalition building. We've actually created a coalition and we're working throughout the state of South Carolina to build a more comprehensive infrastructure. And then the third portion of this is like-minded organizations. And I want to read to you, it says, I remember when I shared this with Talbot for the first time, create synergistic groups that share our values. Activists like those in the Fair Tax and Campaign for Liberty need to see the Republican Party as willing to welcome their involvement and to work with them in promoting shared beliefs. And so what I have made a pledge is I will be as available or as unavailable as you all want me to be. And what that means is that anytime you need me to participate or you want to hear from me, I'm willing and open and able, because I think that that is part of building this party. And I think each and every one of you has tremendous value. And so I'm inviting you to participate and to stay engaged with me and the Republican Party. We've started a business roundtable because we found that there has been a schism, so to speak, between the traditional Republican Party and the businesses at large. And if you go back to our fundamental precepts, it was the small businessmen and small businesswomen that grew the country. And those individuals really haven't been tied in per se. And so if you are here as a businessman or businesswoman and want to be included in the business component of the Republican Party moving forward, I invite you to do that as well. We are going to be working to build our unregistered voters. And there are going to be some programs that will become more and more apparent, and we're inviting you all to participate in that, helping us to register voters, your neighbors, your friends, go into the faith-based communities. Who are the core group of people that become disenfranchised, and what can we do to bring them into the party? This first year, remember I'm a planner. By profession, I have a legal background, but I am really more of a planning and more of a strategic visionary person. And so we're spending a lot of time this year working on a plan of action, a strategic plan. This is the plan that we created for this first year, but we're working kind of simultaneously on a plan that will help us move forward. And again, if you as a body, as an entity, want to self-formulate or put together a group of individuals that want to work and have our voices integrated based on common values, I'm inviting you to do that.